happy we all joined back today, and I look forward to an interesting session with everyone. So today we're going to talk about basic design principles. Then I'm going to give you guys like a quick introduction to the UI design tool we are going to be using for most of our classes. Because remember in our previous class, I mentioned the end goal for this program is for us to be proficient in web design. We need to have like the minimum knowledge of web design principles and how to create a basic landing page at the core. Yeah, so that's the main goal. So before we get to that, I want you guys to understand the basic design principles. And most times, yeah, in your journey to become a web designer, most clients would ask you to design the website using various UI design tools like Figma, which I'm going to talk about today, to give them a visual example of how these websites, of how the website you're going to build should look like. So designing website, it has so many importance. First of all, it makes your work as a web designer so much easier because you have something you're looking at as reference to implement your designs. It makes your designing so much easier. Let's take an example. Now you want to design a website for a client and he tells you all his requirements. Yeah, and you don't have a visual example or representation of what you want to build. From my experience, you and the clients will have so many back and forth, having to go over this, make so many revisions, and trust me, it's a very exhaustive process. So my advice for you is that in future, when we are all pro web designers here, I would advise to always make a digital sketch or design of the website and then show it to the client to review, make changes, and have like a proper discussion. If possible, get a proper approval of the design before you start doing the implementation. So yeah, that is why this whole having to teach you guys this core design principle is very important. So that's that note, let's just get started. As I said in the previous class, yeah, we have three basic things which I need to talk about designing, and they are color, typography, and layout. I gave you guys a quick overview in the previous lecture about these three principles. So I will just touch on them before I proceed to showing you guys basic Figma interface, and then maybe we can even play around with the project today. Let's just get started. So I think the first thing is color. So in every design, be it web design, be it graphic design involves loads of things like flyer design, banner designs, and so much more. As the case may be, it is very important to know basic color principles and theory. One of them is to always use complementary colors, know when to know which what is the right tone for your brand. You should know colors that have high contrast and low contrast. You know which colors blend together. You understand? Because if you mix colors properly in your design, it gives your design this kind of like flair and life. And this principles also applies in web design. So imagine you're designing a website, yeah, and you have a background. I hope you all can see my screen like this. Let's say you have a web design. Let me use a standard web design frame. You have standard website frame. So I will give you guys more insight later. So let's say you're working on a desktop, yeah. So this is how a desktop screen should look like. Let's say this is your desktop here now, and you have a very dark color. Let's say let's use this blue as an example. It's very, very dark here. So let's say you now have text on it. Let me see, the text says this is my website. Yeah. So let's make the font size a bit bigger. Now let's say now As you can see, because this is a very dark color, this white is popping out. You can see it clearly. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to strain your eyes to see this color. Yeah. Let's assume I use a more darker color so it doesn't really complement. Let's say I use a color like this now. Yeah. In those days, I can remember in let's say 2000 and the 2001, 2003 websites, they use colors like this because then UX design doesn't really have like core fitting in the web design space. So you can see a website that will have these two colors on it. As you can see, they don't complement each other. It's very difficult to read what is here because the two colors are not complementary and they both have very dark contrast. So it's very important to always tend to use colors that are complementary and that mix well together. So yeah, I will also share resources in the channel, sorry, in the chat on these principles. I forgot to do that from the previous class, but I'll do that after today's class. And then we have what is called font type. So yeah, we have loads of type in the design space. Yeah, as you can see, I can even show you another really quick. This is all the fonts that you have on Figma. There are so much. Like you would scroll, you have so many options. Yeah, but it's also good to know that yes, some fonts don't complement well with each other, and there are some certain fonts that you use on website design projects, and there are some you avoid thoroughly. There are some fonts you use on basic on designs like flyer designs, banner designs, and those fonts cannot be used on a website design project. So it's also good to really study typography, the use of fonts, study things like font weight. When I mean font weight, I mean things like this. So let me show an example of what I mean by font weight. Most of us should already know all these things, but I will just still touch it so we would know. So let's say this is the name of this font type is called Manroop, as you can see. We can see this clearly. Let me zoom in a bit. So this font type is called Manroop. As you can see, it has, if you look below here, you see something called regular. This means this is a regular Manroop width. But now Manroop here has so many other widths. It has an extra light, it has light, it has medium, sorry, it has medium, it has semi-bold, it has bold, it has extra bold. So these are the various weight of this same particular font type. So let me show you. This is, so you can see, so you can see the variation. This is extra light, this is light, this is regular, this is medium, this is semi-bold, and so on. So you can see the various variation in the weight of this font. So it's also good to know which weight of font you use on your website project. Most commonly here on various website design projects, which we're going to work on here. So the major ones I use personally is the regular and the bold. Because if you go to various websites now, you would see mostly there are things called header fonts and body fonts. So for the header font, those are the things that you'd want users, these are like the headings, what you want to use to call users' attention. Those font weight are usually in bold because you want it to be very loud in the user face here. While the other smaller text on the website is called body. They're called the body fonts. So they usually use regular because regular is not so heavy and it's easily readable. It's not so heavy on the eyes. So yeah, we need to study type. It's a very, very broad topic. As I said, I have resources for you guys. I have loads of resources. I will share it in the group chat today. Then the last principle I'm going to talk about is layout. So layout basically just talks about arranging things like elements, visual elements, and text elements on the website layout, which is something like this. So just properly arranging them in a way that yes, it's easy for users to read and navigate through your website. So the goal from our previous classes to give users good experience when they're on your website or your application. So it's always good to do a proper design layout because it will really help you in certainly before you even start the main design project. It helps you to know, okay, this is where I want this to be. This is where I want this element to be. I want this type here. I want this picture here. I want this heading here. So you know where all these things are before you start building a website. So I think those are the core principles. So let's just get right into Figma. So I urge everyone to sign up for Figma. Figma is the tool we are going to use to design both our wireframe and both the actual design. So Figma is very convenient and is like a more like a master of all tool. Yeah, so it's very, very good. I would encourage everyone to sign up on Figma. To sign up on Figma, you just go to figma.com. Yeah, and you sign up. It's a very simple process. Just follow the step by step. Let me just open it down here so we all see. Okay, this is opening my personal files. So I don't want. Okay, I have to open and come into more. Just 1 second, please, guys. But yeah, I really want everyone to sign up on Figma, and because I want us to follow up during the classes, because I will give assignments for us to like design some web, because we're going to build, each and every one of us is going to be the website, but we need to make a design of it first. I'm going to review everyone's design, check it, make comments, see where you need to improve on them. Yeah, so I encourage everyone to sign up on Figma. This is the Figma website here. You can access it by going to figma.com. I'm posting it in the chats for convenience. So you can just sign up. It's very easy. I will encourage you to sign up with your Gmail account or your email account if you have one. And then you just follow the process. When you come into the Figma design interface itself, you can click on click a new file like this and to open this kind of workspace. Yeah. So now if this is what we call the workspace. This is where you design. It's a very large canvas. You can zoom in and out. I'm doing this by pressing Control plus zoom in and Control minus to zoom out. So yeah. So let me just run you through the various elements on the Figma dashboard. So this one here is more like a quick action tool here. You have access to your various files to create a new design file, to open a FigJam file. I'll talk about this FigJam much later. You can open a sketch file. Because sketch is another. Okay, I'll go this much later. I don't think we're going to talk about sketch now. They will have various things like edit. We have the view, objects, text, arrange. You will go we'll go into this much later. Well, now this is the first tool here is called the move tool, as you can see here. You can see this very tiny arrow here. It's showing that yes, we have multiple tools in this particular column here. So if you click on the arrow here, you see a drop down that shows you two tools. One is the move tool and the second one is the scale tool. So the move tool, its function is to basically move things around. So you select things on your canvas and then you can move them around with the move tool. That is just its function. Basically, you can have various things on your canvas, like let's say square, and you can select the move tool, which is the default selection when you come to Figma. You're automatically on the move tool. It's used to basically move things around. Yeah. Then the second element here in this the second tool here is called the scale tool. As the name implies, it's used to scale elements. Yeah. So you just click on it and it automatically scales the element for it to be small and large. So now this scaling element, one thing it does is it makes the scaling be proportional to the original dimension. Let's say now, let me show what I mean by that. So let's say you create a square. Yeah, and the square has a dimension of This is where you see the width and height of whatever shape you have here. If you can look at this element to the far right, as I increase this, let me click on the scale tool here. So when I'm on the scale tool, as you can see, is what is selected now, scale. When I hover on this object at the edge of the object and I drag, the size of the object increases. And if you look to this width and height tab here, you can see it's increasing as I'm dragging these elements. You can see it just basically extends the whatever element you're clicking on, and it's going to be proportional. So let's say this shape, the initial size was 500, and you click on the scale tool, it's just going to be expanding the scale in the same proportion of 1:1. So that's just what the scale tool is for, basically. But you can also use you can know, me personally, what I use to scale, because if I don't want to either press the K key every time, I can just select the element and then I hold on the shift key on my keyboard. If you're using it, I encourage everyone to have a PC to work, because it makes your work very convenient. So when you click on the shift key, you can drag the element and it's still going to scale proportionally. That is just a function of these elements in this section here. And the second element here is called the frame tool. So this is it here. Just basically, its function is to just draw a frame. So when you hear the word frame, I'm sure we are all familiar with frames from pictures that will put pictures inside, basically. Yeah. So let me just show you which one example picture. So we all have frames at home. Yeah. So let me give you an example. I'm trying to import something here. Okay. So we have a simple frame here. So this is a frame that most of us are familiar with here. So we'll put pictures inside this frame. So let's say I have a very beautiful picture here now myself. Let me see. Okay. So this is not me, guys. This is just a picture of a black man. So we put pictures inside frame. So the job of the frame is to house this picture, yeah, and to make the picture have like a home. Basically, it's more like the housing of pictures. So frame in Figma too follows the same concept. It is used to house various elements, various design elements, things like pictures, fonts, layouts. Your frame is the surrounding block around it. Let me show you how a frame works. So let's say let me use this picture as an example now. So let's say I draw a frame here. I click on the frame tool and I draw out a frame here. This is a simple frame. You can see it has something here called frame 1. So it's showing the number. Now let's say the frame now this is the picture here now. Just as you put pictures or elements inside your frame, you put pictures and elements inside the frame here. And what the frame does is to house it. So now if I put my picture inside this frame, I can carry this frame around. And I'm also carrying my picture with me too, because my picture is inside the frame. So in that same light, if I put my picture or any element inside a frame, yeah, and I move my frame, I'm also moving the picture or element around with me. The frame is just like it's housing the picture. So that is basically the job of the frame. But in this case now, in our web design project, the job of the frame is to house things like your website elements and everything. So you can also do things like, let's say I have a font. I am a man. I am a man. So let's make it a bit more bolder. Select, make it bold. Let's make it a more darker color. Let's use dark. I can drag these elements inside my frame. As you can see, you can drag in multiple elements inside your frame. It's not limited to just pictures, as I said, it holds all design elements. I can even bring in my square inside the frame also. It can hold as much things as possible. It can hold icons, pictures, shapes in all frames and sizes. That's what a frame does. Then the second element is called a section. The section is also like a frame, but the section is job now is to house frame. This is the section here. You can shortcut is Shift S. Now a section is used to house frames. It's also used mostly by designers to categorize various design elements or design frames together. I'm going to draw a section out. This is a section now, and the section can house is the Oga Patapata. It can house both frames, both elements, and everything. So you may not really get more context of what this thing is now, but when we're actually doing the main design project, you would see all these things in use and you understand it better. So I can drag my frame inside a section, and if I move my section around, the frame moves along with it. But also bear in mind that a frame can also house a frame. So I can have another frame here, yeah. So all these things you will get more context later. So let me make this frame, the color of the frame, red. I can actually put this frame inside this much bigger one, and I will show you that now in a second. So look at now a frame is housing a frame. You guys can see this is a frame 2, and it's also housing this frame 1 which we created earlier. So you can see frame can also house a frame. So it's not just limited to sections. Let's just proceed. Then we have the slice tool. We're not going to use the slice tool so much. Let's just keep it for now. Let's just move a bit faster because we are limited to time. We have less like an hour. Then we have the shape section here. We have various shapes here. Let me just do a quick run through. We have the rectangle tool. It's used to draw basically 4 corners. A shape that has 4 corners, not limited to square or rectangle. You can either extend it to become a rectangle. You can make all the sides equal by holding Shift when you drag, and it becomes a square. Or you can also click on it here, and then you can change the dimension here. Let's say I want to make this rectangle here, which I'm selecting, to become a square. This is the dimension here now. The width of this rectangle is 2,525 and the height is 843. So you can see it has a very large and height. So please encourage everyone to mute their mic so we don't get distracted. You can actually change the dimension of this rectangle by unlinking the shape here, and then you can make it any dimension you want. Let's make it 500 by 500. As you can see, the rectangle automatically turns to a square, because one notable feature of squares is it has the width and the height has the same dimension. As you can see, the rectangle has turned to a square. You can also drag it out whatever dimension you want. You can just manually type in the number you want here and it will scale. Let's move on. And also there are so many other features here. So when you click on the rectangle tool, you see some other things here like this X and Y here. I was saying get to this here, but let me just quickly show you. X and Y is their coordinates. They show you the position of every element on your canvas. Let's look at. So we can always ask questions after the class. So please everyone should ensure that mic is muted. So X and Y here shows you the coordinates. Let's click on this element now. You will see the coordinate of the element. It has 3, 4, 9, 6 and minus 5, 0, 2, 7. This one has a different coordinate. As I click on it, the coordinate changed. Click on this one, the coordinate changed also. And if I move the elements around, watch this X and Y numbers here. They change because I'm moving the elements. It means as the position is changing, it's trying to document it in the X and Y axis. So that is that. You also have things like angle here. You can actually rotate elements on design. You can see as I'm rotating the shape, this angle here is changing. Watch, I'm going to make it 15 degrees, 30, 45, 60, 90. It has moved around a right angle triangle. But yeah, this is the angle. It just basically shows you the angle of your elements on your Figma. Then the next is the rounded corners, or you can call it border radius, or in this case, corner radius. So its basic function is to just curve the edges of whatever shape we have selected. So now currently, let's select this rectangle, or even select a frame. When you select the frame, you can see this is the corner radius tool here. You just type in whatever corner radius you want. Let's put in a corner radius of 20. Yeah, you can see when we select it, the frame has curved here a bit. It means we've curved the radius, the corner radius of the frame to 20. Let me click on it again and make it, let's say, 100. It's now way much bigger, as you can see. So that is the function of the corner radius, is to basically curve the edges of whatever shape is selected. So all these things I'm teaching here, you may not really see the importance now, but in the grand scheme of things, when we are building our website, you would see all these things in use and how they can make your website look really good. Then the next thing is this is also the corner radius. So this now is to curve independent corners of whatever element that has been selected. I'll show you an example. So now this square is selected here, but now I click on this. It's called independent corners. So when you click on it, it shows you independent corners. It's very intuitive. You can either click on the top right corner here. Let me make this 50, and you click on enter. Just the top right to become 50. Then you can actually click on the bottom left, make it 50 also, and it becomes 50. But yeah, but me, when I'm working and I try to be very efficient at times, you can just select particular radius and you just drag just that one. You can just click on, if you click on the shape, you see these 4 dots here. If you click on any particular one, you can just drag just that particular shape to your taste. All this is very good way and designing things like elements of your website. You can use this kind of like shortcut to get your corner radius, or you can always just come here and make it as much as you want. Let's make this 100. As you can see, it's much bigger. Let's make it 500. That is the basic function of that element here there. But let's quickly continue because we're working with. Then we have the line tool is used to draw lines, various color. But the line tool has its own functions here. You can actually add stroke or width to your lines. You can make it like have a more. If you the default selection is 1, but now I made it 5. I can make it 20. The line becomes more thicker. You can make it 50. Becomes way much bigger. But let's make it like 10. You can also do things like if you look at now, the line has a very straight edge here on both sides. Let me make it a bit smaller so we can see it in one. So yeah, it has straight corners, flat corners rather. So if you click on this element here, the start point of the line, can you now make it to be an arrow, a triangle, a reverse triangle, a circle arrow, or a diamond arrow? All these will be useful in the design itself, so please just bear with me. They also you can also make the corner round, as you can see, or you can make it default square. And you can do it to both sides of the shape. So let's make this end here a rounded corner, and let's make this other edge here a triangle, an arrow. So you can see we've turned a simple line to a triangle this easily. But that is for the line tool. Although there are some other functionalities which I don't want to go into because time constraint. But if you guys want me to go into further lectures, just let me know. We can make the version 2 of this class. But yeah, let's go on. Then we have the arrow tool. It's basically His job is to just draw an arrow. You can have a two-sided arrow. You can have, so yeah, that's just what it does to draw an arrow. We have the, what's it called? Ellipse. I'm going to go into all this. Okay, there's a triangle here. We have the um, ellipse. The ellipse can also do so much more. You can create an arc. It's you can do so much thing with the ellipse too. But yeah, let's just run along. We have the polygon is used to draw polygon is not limited. I know the default shape here that is visible is a triangle, but it's not limited to just triangles. You can draw as much. Um, Polygon means multiple angles. Yeah, because poly means many. It's like the default is 3. You can have as many as 4, which makes it a square. You can have 5, it becomes a pentagon. You can have 6, it becomes a hexagon, and so much octagon. So you can have as much side as possible. You can also scale it and do whatever you want to do with it. Yeah, so just play around with all these tools when you install Figma on your device. But yeah, you have a place image or video. So just to select image and drag image to your canvas. Then we have what is called the pencil and the pencil. So the pencil is also very key. It's a very important tool which we use a lot. I'll just give you a quick overview of what it does. It's used to draw shapes. So now let's say I want to draw let me make something simple. Let's say a triangle. You can draw a right angle triangle with your pencil. Although the pencil can do so much more than draw simple shapes like this. You can use it to even draw an image of a person. You can use it to, it's not limited to, you can just research pen tools and you can see so many functionalities of what it can be used for. It's a very, very important tool in Figma. Like I can talk about just the pen tool in 2 hours class. So, but we don't have to do that now. But the pencil is used to draw shapes. The pencil, we'll barely use it. Then we have the, it's called the text tool. It's used to basically write text, as the name implies. We have, this is more like a resource. I'll go into this much later. You can install things like plugins. You can save components on your designs, and you can have widgets. But this is more advanced. Probably not really advanced, but I'm not sure I should go into this right now. There was also guys, know this class is being recorded, so you can always go back to the video for reference. To be on our YouTube channel, they will have the hand tool here. It's used to navigate your canvas, to move around. You just pinch and drag around the canvas and you can move around. Then we have things like the comment tool is used to make comments. Like let's say you're designing for your client and you give client access to your Figma page. Yeah. And he's making comment like, oh, let me say, Dan Steven, I want you to change the color of this this hero section. I want it to be a bit darker. So he will just come to your Figma page and you can say, Dan Steven, please make this color a little darker. Yeah, and then when it does, he clicks, you can even put an emoji, or you can just do something simple, or you can mention your name, or you can use any emoji here, and he clicks enter. It saves as a comment. Then when Dan Steven comes online, he will see the comment and he will say, okay, Abdul, can you mute your mic? Okay, so when you click on, when it says, please make this color a bit darker, and you come online and you see his comments, you say, okay, then you make the background a bit darker. You know, you can either reply to him that, done, please review or something. Then you click enter. Then when your client says, okay, yeah, I like this color, you can either like your comments and then you can mark the comment as done. That's basically what you use this comment tool for. This is it. It's used to add comments on the canvas. That is for this. Then we'll have, this is my profile here to show you who's online. You can have multiple people on the same canvas. Then we'll have the share tool. You can share this tool with anyone. You can also publish your designs and for other people to see or for various purposes, which I'll get into much later. Then we'll have the dev mode and the design mode. We get into this when we are trying to implement the website you are going to design here. I will show you about dev mode. Then we have the present screen. This is where you make it. I don't think we should touch this now, but just to present your design in a more fancy way. And you can also use to showcase your prototype and other things. As I said, this is something we can talk about much later because it's very good. Then we have the design and we have the prototype. We'll talk about prototype much later. Then we have the page color here. This is because you can see I have a very dark background here. So you can change the color of the background by selecting this color here and changing it to whatever. So maybe you don't like, someone that like dark colors like me, you want a more brighter background, you can always play around with it to see what you like. But I like dark. You can also see the opacity here of the darkness. Let's say I want to make it a bit lighter. I don't want it to be just pure 100% dark. I want to make it like 50% dark. I'll just change the text here to 50 and it becomes 50% dark. Well, who wants to work like this? Let's always make it 100% of whatever color we want. Then you can always off and on it. This is like it to go to turn off and turn on things. You have variables, local styles, and exports. But yeah, I think this is this for now. So we'll touch more things when we actually create an actual website, and then we'll be able to figure out more things along the way. Because I can't really cover the whole of Figma in a 1 hour class. It's quite complex. But as I said, this is just to give you the foundation knowledge of how Figma works. We'll have maybe the next class we'll have more practices and I will give you an assignment for you to practice with so you get familiar with it. I also recommend some things from videos for you to watch. You know about some various elements and how to use them. So yeah, let's just get into making a quick website wireframe. Then hopefully in the next class we can implement the wireframe to the design. So I'm just going to make this wireframe as fast as possible. Let's say I want to design a website for a client here, and the client wants a very simple website with very minimal contents. So how do I go about this? So I start by going to the frame tool as I talked about. I hope you all can see my screen here. I click on, there's so many, see, this is a very key thing. So there are various type of frame you can use. There we have phone. We have various phone sizes here that you can make your designs on. We have iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. If you click on it, it gives you the size of the phone. You can now start designing on. You understand? You can also have something a bit smaller. You click on frame, you can see as small as I think the smallest phone here is the Android. But let's work with an iPhone 8. You can see the difference in screen size. So yeah. So yeah, this is, you just used to, frame is also used to give you dimension of whatever device you want to design on. But in this case, we want to design a website, so we don't need mobile frames. We need the one for website. So we'll click on frame, and then we'll come to desktop. Let's close the phone away. Come to desktop and we'll select. There's, we have two popular operating systems. We have the Windows and we have the Mac. So Mac is Apple laptop basically, while the other one is Windows. So now most Nigerians here will use Windows. Okay, we have just 10 minutes more. Let's be a bit faster. Let's just select any frame. Let's select this desktop here. So I want to design a simple website. So the first thing I will do is to, first of all, I would have like a grid layout. Is to help me dimension my screen so I know what I'm working with. So I will just select just columns, and I'm going to make the column count 12. I'm also going to make the opacity is okay, it's 12. I'm going to make the margins. Margins is this space at the edge. I'm going to make it a bit higher. Let me see. Let me make it like two. And you can make it. It depends on your choice, or it depends on how large you want your device to be. Let me make it two for let me 243. I think this work. So that this will be the space which I want to make my design. Then we'll have the gutter. Gutter is the space between these columns. You can make it any number you want. But yeah, I think I prefer to work with 20. So then I would, because I have a layout of what I'm working with, then I will have like one prominent thing you see on websites is the menu, the menu bar. Let me just make this a gray color because we're just making a wireframe here. So let's drag it inside the frame. So I created another frame here and I dragged inside this frame. Yeah, I'm trying to create the wireframe for the menu bar. So I'm going to drag it so it gets to the edge of the frame. Then there's this element called the alignment tool. So it's used to align elements on your canvas. Align elements to the bottom, to the top, to the center, as the case may be. So I'm aligning them to the top. And in this header here, I'm going to have things like the logo, which I'm obviously going to place somewhere around here. This is me just trying to have my layout of my website. I'm going to have like various menu items here, like my home, about, let's say, you can have like, let me say 4 elements, 4 menu items here. Then we can also have a button at the far edge here. This is me just trying to do a quick wireframe of how I want my website to look like before I even start doing the actual design. I can also have like maybe so now let's say what if this column does now, it helps to know exact where to stop, where to align elements to on your screen. You can see that I would want to have a big text at this top section here, my header text. It can be a 2-line text, maybe it can be a 2-line text. Then we can have like smaller text, like body text as I spoke about, that is usually in regular font size, maybe from here to here. Then we can have like a very big fancy image here, that or a video as the case may be. We try to snap it to match the grid element which we've created. It can be a picture, an image. And then we can have elements at the far bottom here, like logos of clients you've worked with in the past. Yeah, you can just have it here. Let's make it to fit this exact column grid here. You can have multiple logos. And I'm creating duplicates by holding the Alt key and then dragging the element across. But this is how you create a simple wireframe for a landing page. You can see it's not so fancy, but when we try to, in the next class, I will convert this very horrible looking wireframe to something very beautiful. So let's look forward to that. Before the start of the next class, I will still give you a quick overview of how to, because I was quite fast here. In the next class, I will show you much slower how to do this. In case if you have any questions, we can ask now. I think we are done for today's class because we have just very few time left. So yeah, I know this is a lot to grasp. The video is being recorded and I would share resources for you guys to read up on. And as a take-home assignment, I would want us to try to sign up for Figma and then try to create this exact design of this wireframe that I just drafted just now. It doesn't have to look good, it doesn't have to be nice. It just needs to just show you how you want the website to look like. So I think that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, now this is time for questions. If you have any questions, please shoot. You can just raise up your hand and ask your question, and I'll answer you. We have just 5 minutes more. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay. So you mean there's no question for today's class? It seems everyone here is a pro already. So there's no question. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, you can always play around with this Figma interface and try and do as much as you can. You can also ask me questions in the group chat and I would always respond to you.
Please, can I talk? Sorry.
Yeah, Precious, please go on.
Uh-huh. Thanks. Well done, Mr. Chris. Please make sure you make sure that you upload this thing on YouTube ASAP. You understand? Am I sorry? Can you please? Did you hear what I said? Uh-huh.
Yes, you
Uh-huh.
want it
So
on YouTube ASAP.
because
ASAP.
because me, I will need to rewatch it, and because as I'm holding this, I'm using my phone, and it's not that easy. So I'll have to rewatch and check some things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
everybody's tired as well. Okay, don't let me say everybody. Me, I'm tired as I am, so, and I can't really assimilate. And I'm very sleepy. I'm feeling very sleepy. So
Yeah,
please,
definitely. It's been on
what
YouTube and
uploading it on
listens to
YouTube
it as
really
much as you want.
it's really going to help. So because we'll revisit
Okay,
it
okay, that's fine.
and check. Thank you very much. Well done. And please, Chris, I
Yeah.
have a question in your DM. Please, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sure you are not checking very well. I submitted now. Uh-uh. This class don't handle. This thing go close.
Yes. So I would want us to have like numbers. We are so much in the group chat, but very few people tend to attend these classes, and it's not really encouraging. So please, you can always share with your friends, people that you know you'd want to get into tech or want them to learn how to build websites. Encourage them to join the classes, share the videos with them, have them come and learn in person so they can ask questions directly, and we should be more engaging in the group chat because it's always very silent often, and that's not what we want. We want you guys to be very proactive because you learn more by doing more. So please, let's be more proactive, share with our friends, and encourage our friends to join the live classes. I think that's all I have to say for now. So thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. But I know we can do better in numbers. Thank you.